Let's see if anyone's going to actually see this. Man, can't even remember my talking voice. Hey Noel, let's see if we can get my talking voice up and out. It's been a bit lazy the last couple of weeks, haven't done anything on YouTube, and I'm sorry about that, but it just hasn't been possible. Since YouTube is not my primary source of income, not even my secondary source of income, it does tend to get shuffled down to the bottom very quickly. Just like, there it is. That sees everyone else turning up, that's good. Alright, so yes, just letting you all know I'm not dead or anything like that. But just been a lot of things going on, and I haven't had the energy or time to pop in on YouTube. There haven't really been any sort of suitable machines to do either. There's been a number of them that I've had to struggle to get fixed. The rate of no fixes is becoming quite high on the 820-3000 series boards. Seem to have a lot of failures on those now that I can't fix, like PCH or CPU, or just things that you spend an hour and a half on the board and only to find that nope, you just can't fix it. So, hey Jim, good to see you here. Good to see Jim's not dead either. And well, this week we also had some dramas with Micro. I don't know what happened, but he was all hyperactive and excited on Friday night, and then comes Saturday, sort of around about lunchtime, or Saturday morning really, he was just all quiet and sullen, and don't know what happened to him, but he went downhill pretty quick. And we're still speculating over the possible. This phone is on. Weird, I thought that was off. I can't even deactivate it. Right, well, we'll just shut it up that way. Yeah, so with Micro, I thought, okay, well, maybe the first thing is maybe something's gone wrong with his insulin. So I, unfortunately, because it was a long weekend, there was nobody around. I had an order of insulin in, but it hadn't arrived. So I had to race down to Townsville, and I was able to get a hold of some new insulin. But yeah, we just think it was a multitude of things all coming together at the same time to cause problems. I think the insulin might have been getting a little bit old. I mean, I do keep it refrigerated, and I don't shake it. I do what I'm supposed to do with it, but I think it was perhaps just getting a little bit long in the tooth. And then I think his dosage has been a bit too low, and I think he got a pretty severe fright sometime in the small hours of Saturday, and then he's also been getting into the biscuits a little bit, the carbs. So I think it all just came together in a bad way, and he crashed down. But fortunately yesterday morning, just as I was about to take him into the vet to have him sorted out, he started to come good again, so we sort of held off doing that. Hey, Micromage Repair, Alan, Travis, Sonia, hello Sonia, Jacob. Alright, this is a fairly dirty 8 plus. Let's see, hopefully we don't have any dramas with the screens like we did the other day. I have noticed that all of the the mongrels, I don't know who they bought this batch of screens off, but they have all put this small flex underneath the metal plate, which completely and utterly defeats the purpose or point of me getting screens with plates already built in, done on them. Because now I have to actually disassemble the plate, at least partially, in order to put that cable in the correct position. Very annoying, very annoying. Let's see if I can do this without too much fanfare. Usually I can get it in through this way. Okay. Yeah, so there's someone on the assembly plant somewhere is botching up pretty bad. It's supposed to save me 5 minutes of stuffing around. Ends up costing me that much time. Sometimes when they run out of supply, I've got no choice. I have to pick up these, otherwise I can't do any jobs. No, it's not supposed to be under the plate. It's supposed to, see, if you look at, this is the original. See, see the original, it's over the top. And what they're doing on these rebuilds is they're putting it between the plate and the back of the screen, which is not right. And in other news, good news, come next Thursday, we will finally have the house finally to ourselves, because that's when the other people living here will move out into their house. And so I'll finally be able to run around and do whatever I like in this house entirely. Good. Okay. So it's been a bit of a long process, but we're getting there. Just transferring the True Tone data. If you do get one of these, try to get one with the battery in it. This one does not have the battery in it, and it's a bit of a weird behavior how to get it to fire up. Once you're used to it, it's not so bad, but initially you sit there and you think you've got a broken device. Fortunately, I have been able to, at least in the interim time between waiting for the in-laws to move out versus when they actually purchased the house. I think about a week and a half ago, I finally got the room that's in front of me, and I was able to turn it into a storeroom very quickly. And it's definitely helping. It's only about a 3 by 2.4 room. But I've got 3 large storage racks in there, and I've got a small table in there, and the small table is really good because I can take the containers from the racks, place it onto the small table which is in the middle. It's kind of like an island, and rifle through it and then put the stuff back on the shelf. It works out very well. And it's also my mail packing room. Ooh. Don't want to use 460 on the Touch ID, and you're going to use 250 on these to soften up the glue, and that allows me to get that home button out without damaging it, hopefully. Hey, TripleFap, yeah, a little unusual. I just thought I'd quickly jump in, because I know I haven't been around for a fair bit. Just want to say hello. They've been having some really nasty jobs lately. I just fixed a 1708 that nearly drove me out the wall. Turns out it blew the Pi 3 USB chip. It blew... I'm pretty sure it took out both of the C3215s and the Thunderbolt controller and a few of the protection diodes. That was a lot of work getting that one done. But funny thing is, it partially worked. It would actually go up to 20 volts and you could run the machine off it. but the charge rate was extremely slow, and there were no, you couldn't talk to USB devices on it. So it would do the uh, power control, but if you plug in, say, a USB stick to try and get data off it, it wouldn't pick that up. So that drove me a little bit up the wall. But anyway, that's fixed now. But I've got other things like a 820-00138, and it's got a strange backlight issue that I can't pin down. It's something to do with the sensing of the internal display versus external, and there are all these sort of problems that are becoming, it's no longer a case of pull the board out, fix a backlight driver or something like that. It's with all these 3000 series boards, it's now a case of, okay, you're about to spend an hour and a half just trying to work out what is going on. What's this, Joe Mama? Copies of serial original screen. Oh, okay, I haven't seen them do that. I know they do move the chip module that's on the display. Personally, I just tell my clients that they're going to get a message for the next 4 days or so in the lock screen, and I say, if you're fine with that, I'll do the change. Otherwise, you can take it down to Apple and get them to do it for $350. Hey, Mark, thank you. Well, Michael, you can ask your questions. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to answer. Otherwise, try the Rossmann Repair Group forum or the Discord. The new 24-inch Imax. I did see them come out, and I'm got to admit, I'm a little bit unsure of the styling. I mean, I know some stylings, you kind of got to get used to, but there are some that you just don't get used to. Like that cheese grater Mac Pro. It's like, no, I'm still not used to that. Can't stand the look of it. And as for the ports, I'm not sure. It's like maybe they're trying to stop people who would otherwise, like we say, the iMacs, like the ones that I got behind me. Yeah. Oh,
I
hey.
don't know where the sendal is. Jenny's here.
Oh, flip. Try in the cupboard. Actually, no. I'll just rebar it back. Of all the times I moved it so they wouldn't pee on it. Well, got a delivery and also had to send one. Okay. Alright, let's see what I missed out on here. Dun, dun, dun. Michael, generally, to measure the value of almost anything, you have to take it out of the board, because the board will always impose its own influence on the measurements. With things like resistors and such, you can infer whether it's going to be okay or not by its behavior. Like if you get a reading on a network or across a resistor that is higher than what you're expecting, then you know there's something definitely wrong, because resistors in parallel will always be lower. Yeah, so there are some tricks you can use to try and help you diagnose things without having to take it out, but yeah, when it comes to capacitors, you pretty much have to take them out. And the other problem with capacitors, of course, you never know what their voltage rating is if it's like a ceramic. I mean, short of testing it to its destructive limits. One of these days I should get myself a good ESR meter, but it's not really something that I would use. I try not to fill up the workshop with tools that I'm barely going to use. Even if people say, man, it'll make your life so much easier when you got one of these. It's like if I only use it once every 6 months, it's just more of a waste than it is useful. Even the oscilloscope, the DSO, is borderline useless for me. Hey Tony W. Christian. Would something like a curved tracer help an iPhone laptop? I guess it's a case of many times when you get these kind of tools, if you invest the time into learning how they respond with your jobs, then they can become functionally useful. But many a time you see advertised on the various repair groups, people saying this new tool will make your revolutionary tool will make your life so much easier to do the repairs, you'll find the faults and all that. Most of the time it doesn't. It's all just, it's fancy and new. Now they'll show you a couple of test cases where all of a sudden it seems so much easier. But at the end of the day, a lot of the time, even with just your fundamental tools, your basic multimeter, your power supply with current limiting and voltage limiting and things like that, and your eyes and a microscope, that's usually what you need for the most part, and that's it. Everything else tends to become a corner case tool, and that's fine if you want to have a lot of corner case tools, and it helps you get those corner cases. But then half the time you have to know you're dealing with a corner case fault and to know which tool to use, and typically you may already know. Then if you know that, then you probably already know how to fix the fault. Oh, we've got some screws rattled out on this. I'm rambling a little bit, probably because I'm just thinking I've got to get down to the shop and get some stuff. I'm going to get some stuff from Micro. I'm trying to clean out this edge bonding gunk that this stuff deteriorates into a really disgusting goo fairly quickly. Have you accidentally torn a home button when removing the old screen? Thankfully not. At least not on the 7 series and whatnot. The ones, the Touch ID. There have been a couple of 6S ones, but I'm 99.9% sure they were already torn. Usually because the tech before didn't put down, or they just put the home button in there and there's no bonding to the actual display. So what happens is, as a person uses the button, when you press it, you inherently sort of twist it slightly. And over time that twisting fatigues the flex, and then one day some hapless person who has to replace the screen undoes it, and then boom, it just breaks in two. So yeah, when it comes to exotic tools, I'm not really much of a fan. I think maybe they had a better place in the days of TV repairs and valve repairs, things like that. But for me, microscope, multimeter, power supply, and chipmunks. Okay, so this is a typical sort of case of, fortunately, it's a comparatively cheap tool, compact, easy, you don't have to really be that smart about it. And by the way, this is the new variation that Harold's produced for me. Well, not for me, but for everybody. And I haven't even had a chance to try this new variant. Looks like it's more center mounted too. I'm just gonna have a look. Yes, this is the old, this is the new. Yeah, so it's a slightly more central mount plug. And he's overall made it somewhat cleaner. And he was telling me that the LEDs are brighter and they will stay on for longer, particularly with the green blink. And there's no traces on the back of the board anymore. Technically, it's not something that many people would care about, but in terms of achievements, when you're doing board design, it's always nice to achieve no traces on the other side of the board if you can. It's, you know, it's one of those achievement type things, I guess. Yeah, keep saying that word, Paul. I might plug it in and have a look after I've done this thing. What I have bought for this though, I'm waiting for it to be delivered, but maybe tomorrow it might get here, is I'm going to get a lug to 4mm banana socket adapter thing. So the lug, I'll just put the metal lug and I'll solder it onto here, and then the 4mm banana adapter will come out here, and that way then when I'm doing multimeter measurements, instead of plugging it in like this, which while it's effective, I would prefer it if it was inline like this, and then that way when you flip the board over, you're not twisting the whole cable around. So I'll see how it goes. It might not work, but I'm going to give it a shot. Alright, let's get back on with the phone repair. Oh yeah, and the infrared camera. Sorry, Sonia, thank you for bringing that up. Yes, the infrared camera is certainly a very helpful thing. Again, you're sort of stepping up a little bit there in terms of having to know what you're dealing with. A good example is, of course, if you get things like with iPhones and you've got a short on the VCC line, the main one, but when you use the infrared camera, what will happen is that VCC MOSFET will just glow like the sun, and people will go like, oh, look, there's the fault, and they'll replace that MOSFET and they'll go, yeah, I fixed it, and then they turn it on, same thing happens. So I'd say as you go up with these tools, then you have to also, you know, your knowledge on what you're dealing with has to go up too. I guess you could say it steps you more and more away from the please bro world. Mind you, infrared cameras are pretty damn please bro-ish. But again, you have to know what you're looking at. Nothing developed yet on the kitty enclosure because we are waiting for the in-laws to move out. I can't do anything until they have, because there's just no room to move. We were planning on getting a very nice shed, about 9 by 3 meters, but unfortunately that's had to be canned. because the $30,000 cost for it is just not quite something I can cover. If it'd come in at about 20 even, I might have gone for it. But 30, I just can't do that. Not yet. So it'll have to be a future thing when I've, become supremely rich or something. But they will still get half of the land. They'll get a good quarter of an acre to run around on. They will have, in the end, 2 smaller sheds to play around in, and they will have a weatherproof sealed patio, which will be, the patio will be about 9 by 2 meters. Or is it? No, 7 by 2 meters, yeah. So they're going to have plenty of resources to keep themselves comfortable. But it would have been nice to have it as a large shed, but yeah, 30,000's a bit steep. For me, yeah. If I was rolling in money, I wouldn't mind so much. Okay, let's make sure we don't crimp this cable. Nothing quite like going through all that work. I need to ruin everything because you didn't push in far enough. Make sure you don't have a hump. If you get a hump when you look down over the edge here, you know you got trouble. Greg, probably because a couple of weeks ago they actually got the keys for the new place, but the removalists don't turn up until next Thursday or so. And we have been doing some stuff being moved across, have been moving boxes and whatnot, but not everything. All the heavy material, all the white goods, the beds, things like that, that won't go until next week. Let's see if this works. I hate how long it takes for you to hold. I hate how long you have to hold that button down for the Apple logo to come up. What's this turd? Let's see. Bought a 10 by 20 shed and it was around 2,000 US. That's a nice price. The real cost for what I was planning on doing, it was actually in the slab. And when you think about it, because a 9 by 3 meter shed, and then we also had a 3 meter by double basically for the awning to come out. So you've got this concrete slab that's 9 by 6, so that's 54 square meters. That's that's probably going to be about $7,000 of everything. Okay, home button works. Oh goody, everything works. Okay, sorry, I'm just checking everything. Obviously I can't show you what I'm doing. Seems all good. And the home button works. That's what's most important. Okay, that's good. Alright. Ka-ching. Bit of bread and butter money for me. Need a bit of that given how many machines are not working lately with the repairs. I think the worst thing about the repairs lately is that you spend so much time and you get this close to fixing them, and then there's that one fault that either pushes it out to being uneconomical or it's just a fatal fault that you can't fix. I am getting a lot of 3-beat errors after I've done everything, and it's not my ultrasonic or drying process. It's just simply a case of the boards are getting old, and maybe through electromigration or just simply fatigue, they're starting to fail. And I think what happens is that the ultrasonic and the washing just simply brings about, and all the heating that it goes through brings about that fatigue just that little bit further to the breaking point. So I think, 163 boards, 138 boards, even 332s, they're all failing on me, and it's getting very frustrating. So, but what can you do? You can't charge the person and say, oh yeah, I got 90% complete, so you pay me 90%. It doesn't work like that. Well, Tony W, would your concrete slab have to be extra heavy due to account? Yes. Well, the whole build has to be a little bit up because we do have to have it cyclone rated. With the cyclones, it's all about holding the roof down. So you got to make sure that the slab doesn't tear up, or you got to make sure that the roofing sheets at the top don't peel off, things like that. As opposed to in many other countries, the engineering focuses on holding the roof up, stop the roof collapsing in on you. Around here, it's all about making sure the roof doesn't peel off. So there is a considerable amount of expense involved in the extra engineering material required to make sure you pass those certifications. I know plenty of times if I look at nice portable homes or something like that down south, they maybe say $10,000 for something that you go, yeah, that's great. But by the time you get that same design, so to speak, built for our conditions up here, it's about an $18,000 home. So yeah, it's very frustrating. Also in part because of the fact that where we are, we don't really get the full brunt of cyclones, but we are zoned that way, so can't beat that. Alright, time for me to head out of here. Yep, I'm gone. Okay, you all take care. I'll see you next time. We may have a machine for this evening, that one that just turned up. I'll have a look and see if it's something that we can do together. In the meantime, you all take care. I'll see you later. Any TripleFap about 50 meters per second, and I'll leave it at that. Yeah, 50 meters per second. See you later.